Welcome to Championship Football Weekend on the Wayniac Nation Fantasy Football Podcast on the YouTube channel thing that we do here. We're coming to you on a nice little Thursday. It is, like I said, the AFC and NFC Championship game this weekend. There's only 4 teams left, and we're here to pick the games and the players you should start in daily fantasy. As usual, I'm your host, Wayne Cavati. This is not a filter. I haven't shaved since like the last 3 episodes, I don't think. No reason, really. Joining me, as always, are my 2 cohorts. As you can see, live from Green Bay, not really, but the pirate himself, Mr. Buccaneer, Mike Dutton. Dutton, how are you?
Howdy to all of my fans out there.
Yarg.
Yarg.
Joining us from the state where possibly the best team will be in the Super Bowl, but not the city. The Buffalo Bills. Yes, yeah. Everyone forgets they're the best team in New York, you know?
They are the best team in New York. And we'll probably hold that for a while.
Yeah. As the one and only FanDuel Fee. How are you?
I'm good. Been super busy week for me, but I'm hoping that we can put together a nice little FanDuel team for this Sunday.
There's definitely options. You got 4 good teams out there with plenty of players to get in there. But first, as always, is Big Larry's Locks of the Week. Last week, we did very well. I was 4-0 straight up. Fee was, what's this look like? 3-1 straight up. And Dutton was 3-1 straight up. Against the spread, we weren't so hot. I definitely thought the Rams, Fee, it looks like, thought the Rams would cover as well with me. We all took the Chiefs, and the Chiefs were well in hand covering that game until Mahomes. But I talked about it last week, and one way or the other, Chiefs do not cover against large spreads. And once again, it happened to them. And I know that this wasn't the same way the other times went down, but it still happened. So that brings us to this week, and we have 2 games, 2 to choose from. So we'll get started in the AFC because it looks like we're all in agreement. Let's talk a little bit about why. Dutton, we'll start with you. Bills, Chiefs. Bills are currently getting 3 points. Who do you got?
I have the Bills. The Mahomes thing is worrisome, right? I mean, I
agree.
Let's say he plays, okay? He's not Patrick Mahomes that he was when he started the game last week against the Browns. And the Bills are definitely a team that's better than the Browns. We would all agree on, right?
Yeah.
I think their defense is faster. I think he's going to have a hard time running the ball. Had that foot injury last week was what was worrying me before the concussion. I mean, he was having a hard time getting around the field. I'm picking the Bills to cover, and I'm picking the Bills to win. I am. And, yeah, I mean, I think the Bills can go into Kansas City. I think there's something magical about that team right now. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. And I think I think the Mahomes thing is worrisome enough to me that the Bills win the game.
Fee, I saw you in a little bit of a surprised look over there. What are you thinking?
I was surprised that he took the Bills to win outright. I agree with the Bills plus the 3 points. I'm going to take the dog here. I agree that Mahomes doesn't look right. I'm sure he'll be fine. The concussion probably is a little bit worrisome, but not as worrisome as that foot injury or whatever he's got going on. I think they're going to try to run the ball more. But the Bills secondary, their pass defense is very, very good. And I was a little surprised that he took the Bills to win, but I'm almost convinced now that the Bills might actually win the game.
That's kind of what happened to me.
I'm taking the Bills plus the 3. I'm not sure where I'm going outright here. I would love to see the Bills win. I think that would be really cool. I think it would be a great story. I certainly think they can do it. I don't know how I want to pick it, but I like the Bills plus the 3.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go on board. I'm just going to talk about some of the similar stats that we talked about last week. The Chiefs over their last 9 or last 10, I'm sorry, are 2-8 against the spread. One of those wins against the spread was that 19.5 point favorite against the Jets that they won by about $1 billion, that anybody would have been 19.5 point favorites. The second one win against the spread was a 3-point victory over the Saints when they were 2.5 point favorites. So we're talking about by a half point here, the Chiefs are a half point away from losing their last 9 straight against the spread. So they're 1-8 in their last 9. So let's flip it around. What are the Bills? They're 9 out of the last 10 against the spread. Okay. It's like we said last week. Yeah, the Chiefs spread, that this was all Mahomes, and it wasn't like the other games, but we looked at those games where the Chiefs had 10-point spreads and they didn't cover any of them. And sure enough, it happened again. Okay. These numbers don't lie. And I got to go with the Bills again against the spread for sure, getting the 3 points. And I think the Bills win. I do. The offense is there. The offense can hang with Kansas City. We know that. And the defense had to catch up and do its part. And Leslie Frazier did that last week, man. That defense looked ridiculous. So, you kind of get that Giants momentum. I mean, you saw it firsthand, Fee, when they were just unstoppable on both sides of the ball. And that's the way that the Bills looked last week. So I'm taking the Bills to win.
I'm on board. I'm on board. Bills to win. I'm on board.
I mean, here's the thing. And Fee, I was laughing at you because I talked myself into it too, because you're looking at it, it's 3 points, right?
Yeah.
So you're telling yourself the Chiefs are winning this game on a last-second field goal. There's no way. I'm sorry. This game is not coming down to a last-second field goal. I just don't see it happening. Like, if anything, the Chiefs are going to have to win this game on a last-second touchdown. So then they do cover and we're wrong, right? So if you're picking the Bills to cover, then just pick them to win in my book. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
So let's move over to the NFC. Here, we're not all on the same page, surprisingly enough. Fee, I'll let you get started. What we're looking at are the Bucks heading to Lambeau, facing the Battle of the Bay, the Tampa Bay Green Bay Packer showdown. 3 points is the spread here too. So who do you think?
I like Tampa getting the 3. But Green Bay winning the game. And the reason is because I feel like Tampa's doing this with smoke and mirrors. The problem is that they are a good team. And I feel like they'll keep it close, which is why I'm taking them plus the points. But I just don't think that they got the horses to beat Rodgers. The way the Packers have been just kind of, it's not steamrolling, but they're on a roll, working through, the end of the season and playoffs. And Tampa's secondary is suspect. I mean, I know that they played better last week. They did. But I just Rodgers is not Breeze. The Packers are not the Saints. And I think that the Packers are able to pull it out. I think their offense is too good for Tampa's defense to stop.
Fair enough. I am going to agree with you on the Bucks against the spread. Dutton, we're obviously making you go last wearing that pirate hat and Buccaneer shirt. I definitely agree with Bucks on the spread. I also think the Bucks are winning this. Against the spread, they've been the underdog 4 times this year. They're 3-1. And they've won the last 3 games in a row. And one was as recently as last week, in a game that a lot of people thought they would lose. So it's Tom Brady in the playoffs, man. And I'll definitely take the L if I'm wrong, but I'm not going against Brady, even against Rodgers, as hot as Rodgers is. It just seems like this year is the NFL has all these WWE storylines, right? They're all storylines. Last week, Brady ends Drew Brees' career. What's he do when he wins? He goes to Lambeau to face Aaron Rodgers for the first time ever in playoff history, right? And then if he wins, Tom Brady's back in the Super Bowl when Bill Belichick didn't even sniff the playoffs. I mean, it is just like WWE storyline. So I'm sticking with the way, and I'm going with the Bucks and the Bills in the Super Bowl. Mr. Dutton, Bucks fan extraordinaire. What do you think?
I think that you guys are very astute in picking the game to be close. I think it's close for a while, but I'm picking the Packers to win. I think that Fiamano, you said it. The Bucs are playing with smoke and mirrors. I think they're one game further than where they really thought they were going to be. And everyone can say it was Super Bowl or bust for the Bucs, but let's be realistic. This is a team that didn't make the playoffs for 10 plus years, right? So adding Brady immediately bettered this team, right? And we knew that offensively, but we also knew the defense had to come along, and we all watched them struggle, and there was conflict between Arians and Brady, and that's all been smoothed out, and they seem to get along, and that's great. But Wayne, you said it's a WWE storyline, but there's just something about it. The high is 29 degrees on Sunday. It's going to snow. Tom Brady is used to that. Nobody else on the Bucs is used to that. Nobody else on the Bucs has played in a championship game. You know, most of them hadn't been in the playoffs, right? Yeah, Brady has been there. Gronk has been there. But the rest of them, I mean, Fournette's running the ball well. I think, Fiamano, you've said it for weeks in a row that, we played our Super Bowl last week. We lost to the Saints twice this year. We got shellacked the last time we played them on primetime television. We went out there, we played well. But if you look at that game, I watched it again the other night. It was on NFL Network again. Brady didn't win that game. The defense won that game. I mean, Brady was handed the ball 3 times inside the 35-yard line. Anybody gets the ball there. So I don't know if the defense can do that. I don't know who guards Devontae Adams. I don't. And then we found out that Michael Thomas was playing with a banged up everything, right?
Michael Thomas was hurt, and it showed. And while Tampa Bay shut him down, I think a lot of that more so had to do with him being not 100% versus.
And then once he couldn't go, it was the Bucs could just key in on, all right, he's out of the game. He's taken himself out of the game, right? We could put somebody on him, but we don't have to worry about him. I don't know. They can't do that to Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams could have 200 plus yards. Devontae Adams could pull a Tyreek Hill on the Bucs in this game.
Listen. We all know, and we've been saying it all year, that the way to beat the Bucs is through the game. Okay, and while yes, they held the Saints in check through the air last week, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that the Saints just weren't 100%.
Drew Brees couldn't throw the ball 20 yards.
Brees, Michael Thomas, like you're talking about guys that they've been doing it for them,
right.
And they just weren't able to get it done. And
29 degrees is cold to catch a ball in.
I just don't think that the same thing is going to happen with Green Bay. The Packers are a much better team. Their players are healthy. And I don't see Tampa slowing them down through the air.
Yeah, I don't either. I think the Packers cover. I think there's a point where the Bucs defense just can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? It might be close for a while. It could be going back and forth first half. It could, right? But I think at some point somebody fumbles, Mike Evans has a ball come out of his hands, Packers pick it off. Somehow Packers get that score and then another score. They're ahead now, and then the Bucs are trying to come back, and they're just not going to be able to. And I think the Packers end up covering. As a Bucs fan, I'm happy where they are. You guys both know my feelings. We bought this run. We didn't earn this run. We went out and bought Brady for this. He's delivered. We got where we wanted to go. But I'm reading these stories that they're freaking out down there because they're literally practicing next to the stadium that the Super Bowl is going to be played in. Right. So these guys can't handle this. Bruce Arians is trying his best to we're focusing on this game. No, you're not. When I'm reading them tweeting about it and they're posting pictures on Twitter of this is what's going on. You're looking ahead of Aaron Rodgers. You can't look ahead of Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers wants this, right? Let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers wins the second Super Bowl. He jumps immediately into the conversation of greatest quarterbacks of all time. Right? Would you not agree? Because he's now got 2. So goodbye, Eli. Sorry, Fee, but
yeah, for sure. For sure. No, 100%.
So, anyway,
I love Eli.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Are you taking Eli or Aaron Rodgers, right?
Mhm.
No, it's Rodgers. Yeah, especially if he wins the second one for sure.
Right. So there you go, Wayne. Packers. I think they're going
All
to
right.
cover.
I still think it's the Bucks and the Bills. So moving on. Uh,
Wait, can we do a recap real quick? You got the Bucks and the Bills
I have the Bucks and the Bills. Correct.
in the Super Bowl. I got the Packers and the Bills, and Dutton.
I have the Packers and the Bills, which just for the viewers out there would then be my oldest daughter, Packer fan, against my wife, Bills fan in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's
It is
crazy.
crazy. And you're a Bucks fan. You have three teams out of the four.
Out of the four in this house are playing for the Super Bowl. And we're guaranteed that one of our teams in the house is in the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's crazy.
Crazy. So anyway.
Well,
all right. Daily fantasy.
Yeah, it's time to make our rosters with FanDuel fees, action, stacks, packs, picks, locks, values of the week. But let's face it, there's 4 teams left, and they're chock full of good players. So it's really about making the winning lineup, and that's what fee is going to help you with here. Let's just jump into it. Last week the teams did all right, but I mean it was a weird week. If you went with a Mahomes lineup, you were out of luck. If you went with Breeze and Thomas double dip, you were out of luck. You know, it just didn't quite play out. So we'll see if it does this week. Jumping in like we have the last few weeks, I'll talk about the roster I put together, and we'll let Fee comment on it, and then talk about the team that he put together. With Dutton chiming in on the players that he thinks may be a better play at the position, or any comments for that matter. So starting off, when you look at quarterbacks, you got 4 great ones, right? And they're not separated by much. At the top, you got Mahomes, Rodgers, and Allen, all $500 apart, and then Brady at $7,800. I went with Rodgers. I know that I just talked about the Bills, but I still think that game's going to be a high-scoring affair. So I went with Rodgers. I'm sorry, the Bucks. That I just said that I think the Bucks win, but I think it's a high-scoring affair. So I went with Rodgers. Fee.
So I'm going with Josh Allen, and it's because mainly the Bills can't really run the ball.
Yeah,
and if it's going to be him scrambling. Maybe he'll run for 50, 60 yards in this game, but he'll
valid point.
Also throw for 300 too. I like Josh Allen a lot. If I were to choose a second quarterback, it would most likely be Rodgers. So, I might even put 2 lineups together this week and put Allen in one of them and Rodgers in the other. But I think those are the top 2 guys. I really don't like Mahomes this week, especially him being, I think he's the highest salary guy. I like Josh Allen. Rodgers is a good bet too.
Okay. Moving on to running backs. This is where it got tough because, as you said, the Bills pretty much don't have a guy you can count on. They have a guy that's going to get a lot of volume because of injury, so he is a gamble. The Chiefs, who knows what's going to happen back there? I mean, right leading up to game time, they said Le'Veon Bell was going to lead the backfield, and it was all Williams. Aaron Jones has been inconsistent at best the last 2 or 3 weeks, but normally he's great. And again, the Bucks, another cluster in the backfield. So, Fee, I turn to you on this one. What do you suggest in that running back? What did you put together?
Well, I got a quick question for Dutton. What's up with the Bucks backfield?
So Ronald Jones has this quad injury. I think it's a quad injury,
calf.
Right? Calf injury. So it gets banged up. You saw him last week. He busted a big run, and then all of a sudden he had to run out of bounds, and he didn't really, right?
Yeah.
They bring in Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette's playing well, but Leonard Fournette, I feel like, can only run the ball like 12 times a game, and then he can't run it more than that. And I'm not asking, I don't know why, but I feel like he gets the ball 12 times, and that's about it. Like 3 of those times could be touchdowns. I mean, he runs the ball well. I don't know. So I don't know what's going on in the backfield. It's weird. It's a weird, like, I really think they want Ronald Jones to be the starter, but they just can't count on his injury. So,
Right.
So the way I constructed this lineup this week, and I actually may have to change it because I know that we're doing running back right now, but the way that this is going to work is it really depends on whether or not you want to get Travis Kelce in your lineup or not. And because that's going to be where your limitations are. So currently I have Travis Kelce in my lineup with Ronald Jones. Okay. But if I take Kelce out, I can obviously get a lot higher because you're saving $3,000. Tanyan would be the next best guy. I would actually throw Tanyan in there as my tight end. I would save $3,000 and I could get up to Aaron Jones if I wanted to. I could basically go anywhere. And that might be the move because I currently have Ronald Jones in there and Kelce. If you don't like that because the Tampa backfield is just too sketchy, I think the move is to get off of Kelce, get onto Tanyan, and basically go wherever you feel like going. Based on that. My second running back right now, I have Darrell Williams in there, because I think it's highly unlikely that Edwards-Helaire plays. If he does, he's going to be limited at best. And we saw what Williams did last week, even with Bell, on his coattails. So I got Williams in there again with Ronald Jones, but I think I might change that to get off the Kelce, get onto Tanyan, and get on to likely Aaron Jones, I think.
Right now in my
Yeah,
lineup,
I mean, Ronald Jones, just for you guys to know, Ronald Jones he had limited participation in practice today again. That was yesterday. He's got his quad, and now he has a finger injury apparently. So
did Aaron Jones cede any time last week to anybody? Like,
they just do that. They got all three backs and they run them. But Dylan got hurt.
Yeah, but then AJ Dillon hurt his quadricep last week.
All right, I'm going to stick with Aaron Jones then there, because I know, and I say it all the time that you got to beat Tampa through the air. But I guess I'm hoping that Aaron Jones will catch some balls out of the backfield, maybe some swing passes.
I mean, he's the best running back this week, head and shoulders above everyone else.
And again, here's another just tidbit for you, and people might know this, but Jamal Williams is also a limited participation at practice today with an ankle injury for the Packers.
Right.
So AJ Dillon, so everyone's banged up, but Aaron Jones on the Packers.
I right now I have Darrell Williams. I have Fournette, as a matter of fact, and then I also have.
He's the most intriguing of them because he gets the red zone touches a lot.
He gets the touchdowns. And then I do have Singletary in there, so I have Fournette at flex, and I went with Singletary, but that's because we're going to jump into the wide receivers, and I went big there, and I have Adams and Diggs in my lineup.
That's huge. If you can have both of them in there, that's huge.
And then I have Lazard as the third receiver, and I'm just loading up on. I mean, you said it all year. The way to beat the Bucs is through the air. So if I have Rodgers, I'm just stacking away. So I have Lazard, Adams, and I have Tanyan at tight end. So hopefully, Rodgers passes for 3 touchdowns, and one goes to each of them.
Yeah, I like it. I mean,
Wayne, just pay attention to Lazard, Wayne. He's on the injury list.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he has been every week.
Yeah, he's limited, but just pay attention. So
I love Adams, obviously. He'll be chalk, but he's worth the chalk.
Yeah.
I have Chris Godwin in my lineup, and it's because he works in the middle of the field. And I think that Jaire Alexander is going to cover Mike Evans and take him out of the game. And I think the last time they played, Godwin had a big game. Evans had like 1 catch or something like that.
And Evans is hurt. I mean, as much as he plays, he is hurt. I mean, that knee is an issue.
Yeah. So, and in order to beat Green Bay's secondary, you got to work the middle of the field, and that's where Godwin works best. And I got Godwin in my lineup. So I got Adams, I got Godwin. My third receiver right now is Cole Beasley. But I could get up to, well, I could go down to Lazard because they're the same price actually. So I got Beasley in there right now. I could go to Lazard. I could even go up to, well, no, I can't. I could go Lazard, or I could go John Brown or MVS. I do like Lazard, especially against Tampa. I think that's I mean, it's really kind of a toss up whether you go Beasley or Lazard.
Lazard is going to pop one of those long touchdowns.
And that's the
There
thing
for the
about
Bucs.
MVS. I mean, you can't trust that guy.
No.
I would never start him.
How many has he dropped? Right? Like,
Yeah.
oof.
But he only gets 4-5 targets a game. That's the high end. And when he gets all those points, it's on one big catch.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
I was going to say, because he 5 targets, but one of them is a guaranteed 50-yarder that's
Right.
probably open that he's either going to catch or drop. And
Right.
if he's dropping it, it's totally his fault.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, so I think it's a toss up between Beasley and Lazard.
I think Beasley's going to have more of your receptions. Lazard's going to have probably
Big
the
play.
better chance at a touchdown, but Beasley's going to get you 10 receptions for like 80-something yards, maybe a touchdown.
But you're also going at Josh Allen, so that's something to consider.
Right.
Right. Yep.
So that
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
Godwin, I got Adams, and I'll likely stick with Beasley. Beasley there. And I still have
Yeah, because like you were saying, B, think about it. The Bills can't run, but they can dump the ball to Cole Beasley all day for 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards. You know, it's just like running the ball at that point.
Yep.
So
I have the Bills at defense because I was just pressed for money by that point.
Yeah, so I have the Packers in there, but I'm debating on taking them out to save some money so I could get off of. So I also have Devin Singletary in my flex spot right now. And I know that we talked about how the Bills can't run the ball, but Kansas City isn't very good against the run either. So they might try to run the ball. And Singletary's their guy. Like, they don't really, have much else.
Oh, yeah, because what's his name's hurt?
Moss.
Yeah, Moss is out.
Moss, right.
So
yeah.
So I have Singletary in there. If I tried to save some money in defense, and got off the Packers, maybe let's say I went with the Bills just for argument's sake, I would have a whole lot of money left over for my flex spot. I'd jump up to 7,000, I think, and I could basically get anywhere from, well, I can't get Fournette. You could get from Evans on down. So, and honestly, I don't even like that. I mean, I might just stick with Singletary. Or
I think Singletary's a good one. If the Bills are up in the fourth quarter, Singletary's going to touch the ball.
Right, they got no one else.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Josh Allen.
And I like the Bills to win, so I guess it's probably a good play. I could get off Singletary and get onto Lazard, so I don't know.
So there's a lot of options. I'm sticking with my Super Rodgers stack with Rodgers, Adams, Lazard, and Tanyan. I love having that stack. I do agree, though, if I'm going to set up another roster, it's going to be a Josh Allen, Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs stack in that one.
So here's a question for you both before we say goodbye. You just answer the question, first name that comes to your mind. This quarterback is going to throw 2 interceptions this weekend.
Brady?
Yeah, I guess it would be Brady.
It's hard,
too.
right? Because think about it, right? Like, think about it. If whoever it is that's going to throw those 2 interceptions, that could be the game, right? So who is the quarterback that throws? Because none of them really turn the ball over very much lately.
Not at
right?
all. It's definitely, yeah.
You know what? I hate to say it, but I mean, if you got to pick one, I think it's Josh Allen.
I think it is too. I
Well,
do too.
Possibly because he's just going to be throwing the most with the way that run game is.
Right. Yeah.
Also, he gets a little reckless with it.
Well, sure. He still looks like old Josh Allen every now and then.
Right. So, Yeah. And if Brady is and one of you said Brady, and if Brady is the one, then the Packers are definitely covering and they blow the Bucs out in that game.
Yeah.
If he throws 2 interceptions, they're in trouble.
That's true. That is true. But,
Right.
all right. Well, we thank you as always for joining us. We're going to see who has the right Super Bowl picks in just a few days. As always, make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment, leave us questions, follow us on Instagram. Do it all. Do it. Don't do just one. Do everything I just said, and you will win your fantasy and picks against the spread. Until no, I guess there's no Super Bowl next week. Until next week when we start ranting about fantasy players that really pissed us off this year. Everyone have a great day.
That'll be a great show.
It's gonna be.
It will be.
Corey Davis, I'm coming for you, buddy. Happy championship week, and everyone have a good one.
Go Bucks.